Ladies and gentlemen, hi, I'm Prasad Michael and you're watching KiniFlash. The UAE recently conferred its highest civilian honour, the Order of Zayed, to India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This did not go down well with several Muslim NGOs in Malaysia though. Over 40 NGOs gathered near the UAE embassy in Kuala Lumpur this morning to protest the move.
Together with other NGOs on behalf of the Malaysian people, strongly oppose the United Arab Emirates for honouring award of Zayed Medal upon the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, who has violated the human rights of Kashmir people by UAE Crown Prince Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, known by initial MBZ, during a visit to Abu Dhabi.
The protest is fueled by India's crackdown following its move to scrap Jammu and Kashmir's special status last month, effectively splitting Jammu and Kashmir into two federally run units, whose rulers will be picked by New Delhi.
So we from the 42 NGO, together with other NGO and people of Malaysia, strongly condemn and disappointed upon the honouring of Zayed Medal to the Prime Minister of India, who went against the human rights, where he stationed armed military paratroops towards the civilian of Kashmir people. Is a barbaric movement.
PKR will not take disciplinary action against Party Deputy President Muhammad Azmin Ali and Farhash Wafa Salvador Rizal Mubarak, the political secretary of Party President Anwar Ibrahim. This was revealed by Party Secretary General Saifuddin Nasution Ismail after attending an anti-corruption forum in Petaling Jaya on Thursday evening.
Pendirian PKR sangat jelas, kita menolak sebarang elemen gata politik dan kita serahkan kepada pihak otoriti untuk membuat siasatan. Okey, dan sehingga ini perkara baru buat saya, belum sampai dalam pengetahuan saya.
So, won't consider to have any internal investigation?
So far no. We leave it to the authority to look into it.
Prime Minister Dr. Mahathir Mohamad may be in Vladivostok meeting world leaders ahead of the Eastern Economic Summit on the invitation of the Russian president, but he still has time to update his blog. In a blog post today, Dr. Mahathir said that blaming other races would not solve issues faced by the Malays. He added that the Malays should realize that they are in their predicament today because they did not want to work, unlike the others, including foreigners who are now thronging the country for jobs. He said until today the Malays still haven't realized this and they still don't want to work. In his article, the Bersatu chairperson touched on his observation of the different races in the Malay states of Malaya when they were still under British rule. He said when the British opened rubber plantations and tin mines, only the Chinese and Indians wanted to work in these places. And when he's not updating his blog, Dr. Mahathir has been meeting with world leaders. And during a meeting with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the extradition of Muslim preacher Zakir Naik was mentioned in passing, according to Foreign Affairs Minister Saifuddin Abdullah. However, he said Dr. Mahathir did not respond to that particular subject, as most of the time was used to discuss the situation in Kashmir. Saifuddin said there was no discussion between his ministry and the Foreign Ministry of India, and it was only a diplomatic note which was sent by India to seek Zakir's extradition. Former Prime Minister Najib Abdul Razak has been included among the 41 respondents in the MACC 700,000 ringgit 1MDB related forfeiture suit against Pekan UMNO. The Pekan MP and Pekan UMNO chief is listed as the fourth respondent in the notice of motion, with Pekan UMNO as the first respondent. They were named with 39 others, including individuals such as Saudi Mahusin. The amended notice of motion was filed on September 4th, following the Kuala Lumpur High Court Judge Muhammad Nazlan Muhammad Ghazali's ruling on August 30th for the prosecution to do so. 3 Malaysians were injured in the chaos that marred Harimau Malaya's victory against Indonesia's national team in the World Cup 2022 qualifier at Gelora Bung Karno Stadium in Jakarta last night. CNN Indonesia quoted a Harimau Malaya supporter, Shah Fezan, as saying that his friend was injured during an initial incident that forced the match to be stopped shortly after the second half had started. Unruly Indonesian fans had thrown missiles on the pitch, as well as bottles and other objects towards Malaysian supporters at the stadium. The Football Association of Malaysia, FAM, said it will lodge an official protest to the International Football Federation, FIFA, over the Indonesian supporters' aggressive behaviour towards Malaysian fans. Moving on to international news, morticians and body bags are on standby to deal with the aftermath of Hurricane Dorian.
guess within split seconds, the gusts of the wind blew the little boy off the roof. And so
into water?
Into water. Given the circumstances, I'm not that hopeful.
Richard Johnson said his 6-year-old brother Adrian was just too small to withstand Hurricane Dorian. The boy was blown into a churning storm surge and is among thousands of people missing, many of whom children, after the worst hurricane to hit the Bahamas on record.
This can't be real. This can't be real.
It was one of many harrowing stories emerging on Thursday as residents searched for loved ones while widespread looting was reported on the islands. The United Nations estimated 70,000 people are in immediate need of food, water and shelter. An international relief effort is trying to overcome formidable logistical challenges to help the Bahamas, where the health minister predicted a quote, staggering death toll from Hurricane Dorian, now churning northward off the coast of South Carolina in the United States. The death toll from Dorian stood at 30 on Thursday evening. The final death toll is expected to be much higher. The United Nations World Food Programme, or WFP, said on Thursday that it was organizing an airlift from Panama of storage units, generators, prefabricated offices for 2 logistics hubs, as well as satellite equipment for emergency responders, and has bought 8 metric tons of ready-to-eat meals.
As a species, there's a lot we don't know about this planet. For example, more than 80% of the ocean remains unmapped, unobserved and unexplored. But some mysteries may not be mysteries for much longer.
Scotland's fabled Loch Ness Monster could possibly be a giant eel, scientists said on Thursday after an intensive analysis of traces of DNA in the loch's icy waters. They said that the results ruled out the presence of large animals such as dinosaurs. However, Professor Neil Gemmell, a geneticist from New Zealand's University of Otago, told reporters that there was a lot of eel DNA in the loch.
So eels are 4 to 6 foot in length. It's plausible that there might be one or two that grow to extreme size.
Gemmell noted, however, that despite the idea of a giant eel having been around for decades, nobody had ever caught a giant one in the loch. The international team of scientists took their examples of so-called environmental DNA, or eDNA, in June last year. Whenever a creature moves through its environment, it leaves behind tiny fragments of DNA from its skin, scales, feathers, fur, feces, and urine. The first written record of a monster relates to the Irish monk Saint Columba, who is said to have banished a quote, water beast to the depths of the River Ness in the 6th century. Countless unsuccessful attempts to track down the monster have been made in the years since. Notably in 2003, when the BBC funded an extensive research that used 600 sonar beams and satellite tracking to sweep the full length of the loch.
And here are several other news highlights for today. And that is all from me today. For more stories, go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'm Prasad. Thank you for watching and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.